Live from the Export Beer Garden studio, this is the Agenda podcast for the 30th of April 2024.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
For the longest time, I felt like this was the start of the year, but I feel like we're so deep in this year now.
Yeah, 4 months is gone.
I think what happened to us was we lost March as people.
And January tends to be a nothing.
Yeah.
Everyone comes back to work at end of Jan. Year doesn't really start till Feb.
That's
and then
right.
we climb straight into it, and then there was March, was the lost month.
March Madness, we were in a different city every other day.
Yeah. And then there was April, which was, I think, was our kind of recovery.
Yeah.
It was when we were in,
We got back to what... we
rehab.
Back to what got us to the dance, which is just commentating sport, just doing dumb shit podcasts.
Yeah, dumb shit memes.
Dumb shit memes, stupid videos.
Yeah.
And, I'm quite happy to be sort of settled into that period at the moment. Can really lock in on sport.
Yep.
And just when you thought cricket was over, they go and announce the T20 Black Caps World Cup squad, which came out yesterday. I didn't see the announcement.
I don't know.
Quite frankly, I skipped it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the kids' angle. I know we talked about it yesterday, but they had two kids announcing it. I didn't really say who the kids were or why kids were doing it. Is there a kids tournament going on? Did those kids...
I don't know.
Anyway,
trying to engage with the kids, and I can guarantee I've got having 3 kids at home.
They don't want to watch kids doing that.
Certainly didn't enter their radar.
Anyway, the team reads thusly, and there's not too many surprises. Kane Williamson will be the captain, Finn Allen in there, and also all over the promotional posters and stuff. They're really invested in Finn Allen, as they should be.
Yeah, he's a good-looking young man.
Good-looking young man, future of the sport. Trent Bolt is in there, which is good to see. There was a lot of umming and ahhing about whether Trent Bolt was going to be in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Or do you think that it was a bit more of a foregone?
Nah, he was always going to be in there.
Right.
He is the most in-demand T20 professional bowler throughout the leagues, throughout the world.
Yeah.
If you'd left him out...
India would have said, do you know what? He's actually got a granddad from...
he's Punjab.
Yeah.
Look, we would have been so fucking dumb to leave him out and so arrogant to leave him out. So I'm glad he's in there.
Same. And this is the whole thing with his central contract situation that's been going on for a while now, is they keep saying, oh, but what precedent does it set? The precedent it sets is, if you become the next Trent Bolt, then you can do what he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. Jimmy Neesham is in the team.
That's
the same
right.
thing. He's been doing it for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Well before Trent Bolt.
Yes.
But suddenly Trent Bolt was the discussion because he had a bit of a to-do with Dave White in New Zealand cricket, and so it was a bit more of a deal.
I know, but it's like the whole precedent thing is just like, the precedent is be one of the most in-demand cricketers on God's green earth.
With a lovely small little mouth and a beautiful in-swinger.
Michael Bracewell, the beast, dear friend of this podcast, close personal friend of yours and mine.
Absolutely.
He makes it into the team. Great year for Michael Bracewell so far. Mark Chapman, the T20 Batsman of the Year last year.
ICC Batsman of the Year, can't ignore him.
Cannot ignore him. Devon Conway will be in there. He's the glove man. Lockie Ferguson's in there. Matt Henry makes the squad. The headlines this morning were that he edged Ben Sears. I don't know what that's good.
Gross.
Yeah, is that why he got his spot?
Is that what he had to do to get this spot? Edge him.
Gary Stead's like, you know what?
You're going to have to edge Ben
Matt
Sears.
Henry, you want to play?
It's quite a skill.
You want to play at the World Cup, mate?
Yeah.
You need to take Ben Sears to the edge. Tip him over, and you're not coming to Barbados.
You just have to go to the showers. Just edge him. Edge him. He's alive while he's young.
Is that why he looks like that when he's bowling, Ben Sears?
Because he's on edge.
Because Matt Henry's been edging him in the sheds.
He's about to bust his nut through the crease.
That explains a bit. Daryl Mitchell's in there, as we mentioned.
Yep.
Jimmy Neesham, Glenn Phillips, Rachin Ravindra. I thought it was quite good to see him in there. Mitch Santner, Ish Sodhi, and Tim Southey. Any big surprises there?
No, they are our 15 best players.
In any format? Or
in any format. They are pretty much our 15 best cricket players right now, and I'm glad to see that we've picked our best 15 players. This could be a test team. This could be a one-day team.
Yeah.
If you look at it, and I'm not, they say they've got the specialists like
Latham?
Yeah, Latham's not in there. Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, potentially, but I think they're our white ball players. They're our best 15, and it's a good-looking side. I think it's well balanced. I'm quite excited looking at that team.
Yeah.
Having looked at the team that went to Pakistan, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But they obviously had a plan in mind. The only people that were on that tour were Jimmy Neesham and
Michael
Michael Bracewell, and of course Mark Chapman.
Mark Chapman, yeah. Ben Sears will be the travelling reserve as well. He'll be over there for injury cover as well.
What a great role the travelling reserve is. I mean, you had to be a bit of a net bowler, sure.
But I mean, that's what you do anyway.
Yeah. So, and then you got no responsibility.
So you're just over there at the, what do they call it? The Brian Lara Memorial Cricket Ground or whatever. Just sipping margaritas on the beach.
Sorry, Ish Sodhi was on that tour as well. Look, it's going to be interesting because the wickets in the West Indies are interesting. They sometimes can be a bit slow. So they can take a bit of turn. They're a bit all over the place, really.
Well, it's all over the place, like geographically as well.
Yeah.
So there's some of the games being played in the States. And I think our schedule, I was reading it, and we play Afghanistan, and then we play one other team, I want to say like Sri Lanka or something. Then we're into your Congos, Rwandas, your war-torn Central African republics. So it's like we get off to a rip-roaring start, and then it's kind of a coast into the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's like it's old school as well. I think it's the top 6 go through, and then they have Super Sixes from each pool, who then go into knockout. Or is it knockout? No, then they go into points again. We always do pretty well in West Indies. We made the semi-final there last time we were there.
You went over for that.
Yeah, I did go over for that. But games being played in the States as well. Remember, there's games being played in Dallas, New York, and I think Miami.
New York's Miami's great. I mean, that's pretty close to...
Yeah, the New York one, they've built it from scratch. I don't know if you've seen have you seen the time-lapse video?
No.
Basically a paddock. And then everything has been put in. Scaffolding standing all the way around. They've brought in the pitch. They've brought in the outfield. And that's going to host the Pakistan-India game.
Oh, that's excellent.
We need to get over for that.
Yeah.
Should we get in touch with Qantas?
Yeah, to New York.
100%.
Yeah, we should. I've only seen the Dallas, the Texas one that they've got there, which I think is a converted baseball field.
Yeah.
And the crowd was packed. Granted, 90% Indian.
Oh, yeah, the expat Indian community are coming out hard.
But this is only good for us and only good for the sport to have more people watching it.
Yeah.
You know, America's always like the final frontier for any of these sports.
Yeah.
Rugby's been trying to crack it for a while. I don't know how cricket's going to go because, like I've always said, you've either got room for baseball or cricket. You cannot follow both.
It's funny, because the Americans, it must be so weird for them because they live most of them live such an insular life.
Yeah.
That all they know is NFL and baseball.
Yeah.
And this weird shit comes along, which is the origins of both of their sports, but they don't know that. They think the world revolves around baseball and NFL. They invented it. There's no other sport.
Yeah.
And they imagine watching baseball and then going to a cricket game. Like this guy's doing a weird windmill thing where he's not even throwing it. He's doing a straight arm. The other guy's covered in pads and a helmet, and he's batting the wrong way.
And pitching it at the ground.
Yeah, and there's no like foul area.
No one's got gloves on.
Bouncing it, yeah.
The funniest thing was Heath was talking to a couple of guys over there at a baseball game and asking them about cricket. I think he might have showed them a video of cricket or something. And the thing that they all said was the most terrifying part about cricket is that the pitcher runs. And they're like, what the fuck? This guy's sprinting in from the boundary to throw the ball at me.
Because the only time there's sprinting in that is when there's the benches brawl, isn't it? The only time that the pitcher sprints is when he's going to punch the batsman in the head or other way around.
So, I don't know how well it's going to take off in America, but it does have the population size for it.
Yeah, and look...
And like you said, the expats.
Oh, the expat Indian population is in the millions, tens of millions. In America, so they're going to come out and they're going to love it.
Yeah.
Only the pool games have been played there though, so I think all the knockout games are all being played. All the semis and finals are in the West Indies.
Yeah, I like this because the West Indies it's a great reason to go to the West Indies. You know, if you've ever wanted to go to any of those Caribbean sort of islands.
Yeah, I mean, give Jamaica a miss. I've
heard that.
I wouldn't be flocking to Jamaica.
I've heard that though. I do know. I've got a mate who went on a junket to Jamaica, with I believe who's the rum company that sponsors Chris Gale?
Oh, Mount Gay or
no.
Appleton's.
Appleton's, yes. Yeah. And so he went over with them, and he said it was an absolute blast.
Oh, I'm sure if you're getting hosted, but if you're like a Kiwi backpacker who's headed over there looking for some cheap accommodation, in Jamaica, you'll be missing a couple of kidneys in your wallet and a heartbeat. Even Barbados. Barbados, sounds quite sexy. You think super boats, super yachts.
Rihanna.
That was pretty sketchy as well.
Really?
Unless you're in a resort. as soon as you get out of the resort and go into real Barbados, it's pretty rugged.
Haiti seems nice this time of year. What did you think about the kit? Because they launched the kit as well yesterday.
You know, I mean, look, they're trying to mix it up. I was trying to sell merch, whatever, but they say it's a tribute to the 99 team. There's only one tribute to a uniform there should ever be, and that is beige.
Yeah.
The teal was nothing.
Ill-advised.
There's no one's got any sort of alliance or any sort of allegiance or feelings towards teal. I'm sorry.
I don't.
Beige was great. Beige was the fucking one of the defining moments happened with the underarm. We had Richard Hadley, Martin Crowe. We had Australia on the rocks. It was the start of one-day cricket. We were in beige for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And we were good. It was great. 99, sure, we made the semis. We were okay. Jeff Allett had a blinder in England.
Yeah.
But why a tribute to that? Why'd they pick that?
Yeah, I don't know. But because I was a kid, like I was writing their target demo when they were going through that teal phase. And even then, I don't really... Black or beige for me.
Yeah.
And I also think I lean towards black. Like if we're going to win... If we're going to win the World Cup, wouldn't you rather we were in black?
Yeah, I think we're just embarrassing ourselves a little bit.
I don't love it, and I also don't know if I would wear it. Having said that, I do have the jacket, and I wear it all the time.
No,
so
but
I
I suppose it's a tribute to that as well. But you got the crush shell jacket. It's got black, it's got white, and it's got a little bit of teal. This is full teal.
Yeah.
Not a fan. I think it's a real long bow saying it's a tribute to 99.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't catch that.
No,
you know?
and they had a picture up with picture of like Gavin Larson and Jeff Allett, and it's not exactly people that inspire youngsters, is it? But Richard Hadley and Lance Cairns and Martin Crowe certainly inspired a generation. So,
But didn't the teal have like little black pinstripes as well? Is that what I remember? Or did that come later? Was that
later? I mean,
that was the Nathan Astor, Stephen Fleming era.
I think we've nailed it with our black uniform. I think it looks fucking mean.
Yeah, I do too.
And leave the beige to supporters and leave the beige maybe for special occasions. But the beige has a place, obviously, in supporters' hearts, and mine especially, having started the Beige Brigade. New Zealand Cricket ruined it for a while there by bringing out their own.
Yep. So you don't want to start the teal troop?
Nah, the teal wounders. No, I don't know. Strange decision, but obviously a decision made by their clothing manufacturer, which I think they have a new one now. I think Canterbury is gone, and they have the one, the...
W Star?
Oh, fuck those guys. No... It's the same one as England, the Castori.
Oh.
You know, the one with the wings?
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
That's their new supplier.
I guess it kind of looks... They do look like a T20 franchise, to be fair, in that teal. That might have been part of what they were going for. Like, they could be playing in the Big Bash, Super Smash.
Someone could have sized the players up before the press event as well.
What is it?
Like, they pants look like MC Hammer pants.
Oh, I know.
They were all over the place. Like, it's like they're obviously fresh out of the box. A bit like the ACC ones.
Yes.
The ACC uniforms we've got. If you get a hold of the XL pants, they're expecting you to be 6'8".
That's me. That's me, because to fit around my waist.
And then you get the bunch up on the ankles.
Yeah.
You just look like a bit of a tard.
I look like they let him play.
Oh, cute. Look at him.
Did you drive yourself to the game, buddy? So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to reserve my judgment till I see the guys out on the pitch for the kit. I just don't think I'll be rushing out to buy it.
Maybe it was too hot to wear black in West Indies.
Oh, that's a fair point. That is a fair point.
Well, then just play in white. Oh, they can't because the ball's white.
Then
that's
beige.
Right. Can you remember the ill-advised uniform they had that was white with little black stripes?
No.
It lasted one game. Paul Ford has got one of the shirts because the opposition were like, what the fuck? I can't see the ball.
Well, you're bowling it at me. Okay, it's a white background.
It lasted one game, and Paul Ford's got and it's got the original sponsor, which was Air New Zealand, with the teal koru on it. It's a absolute classic.
It's a relic. See, anything Paul Ford doesn't have. All right, let's take a quick air break, and then one of our stupid ideas has leaked out into the mainstream, into the real world. Again. Talk about it in a sec. Oh, shit, that was one of my favourite ads, that one, Lane. God, I love that ad.
Which one?
Oh, just that one that played.
That one?
Yeah. It's a good one, man.
It was well read too, whoever it was.
Yeah, I think so too. The Saudi suitcase is an idea that we had posited a while ago. It was one of our half-baked sports ideas, and basically it was that we welcome Middle Eastern sports washing into our sport in an effort to stop players from having to go and look for money overseas. our idea was it was like the Ranfurly Shield, but for Super Rugby, and if you won it, you got a briefcase full of money from the Saudi investment fund.
No questions asked.
No.
You win the Saudi suitcase, and at the end, you know, when the Crusaders stab the sword into the middle of the field, and they stab the sword through the suitcase, it opens up, money pours out, players scramble around like a lolly scramble.
And every home defence, you win the money again. If you retain it, you win the money off the team. If you win the suitcase, and it doesn't go towards the score of the season or anything like that. But what it does do is all of a sudden injects billions of dollars into Super Rugby to where you no longer have to decide between going to Japan or playing for the All Blacks. You can do it all here.
Because you got the suitcase.
That's right, because we said, look, we welcomed them. This is something that we need into our sport. It would fix a lot of the problems. Now all of a sudden, the Daily Mail is reporting that Qatar has proposed a 3-day event tentatively referred to as the Super Bowl of Rugby to host the deciding fixtures of the Nations Championship. Now, the Nations Championship, if you've forgotten, is the one, it's 12 teams that play in between the Rugby World Cup. The national teams, so All Blacks play, Wallabies play, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be 6 Northern Hemisphere, 6 Southern Hemisphere. I think Fiji, Japan are going to be part of it as well. And basically, what the Qataris are saying is we'll host the deal that they've allegedly tabled is that they're going to host it's like 3 of the finals rounds and the grand final at their stadiums. The stadiums that they built for the 22 FIFA World Cup.
They're saying it's a 3-day event, though.
Yeah. So they're going to...
How does that work?
So it's going to be hosting some of the semi-finals and into the final is the idea.
So you'll play the semi on a Monday and the final on a Wednesday?
I guess I presume that maybe they're going to spread those 3 out. I'm not sure exactly how that would work. Maybe they don't understand how rugby works.
Yes.
You can't play rugby 2 days after playing rugby.
So they just basically want to host the final and throw some cash at it.
Yes, basically. The proposal would have Qatar play host for 8 years, stage the first 4 editions of the Nations Championship final. That would mean a final, as well as matchups from 2nd down to 6th to be played over 3 days by all 12 teams. I don't know.
Okay. So this is... Okay, I get it. So basically, all the playoffs happen, and then your positional... So 7 will play 8 or whatever to see who gets the wooden spoon. 6 will play 5, all that, and then there'll be the final. You know what I mean? So I think they all play over 3 days. All the finals, but there's a grand final.
Yeah.
So maybe we're going to have to change the name to the Qatar case.
Yeah, the Qatari case.
Yeah, the Qatari case instead of the Saudi suitcase.
Doesn't quite rhyme.
No.
If this brings enough, because I know the players do make a bit from going to the World Cup, but if this brings enough that those top flight All Blacks now no longer have to, go for this sojourn over to Japan.
Yeah.
But this can only be good for the game. And it's going to be tough because it's going to be a god-awful time for us to watch the games because they'll be at I think they're about 10 hours behind us.
Yeah, when was the FIFA one? The FIFA one was...
I feel like morning.
Quite early,
morning.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's going to be a bit weird. But, I mean, that's no harder than a World Cup in England. But...
we could just go.
Oh, yeah, well, that's...
There is direct flights from Auckland to Qatar. I think that's probably reason why as well. Qatar have direct flights to every single country that will play in this, most likely.
Yeah, I get ushered through the queues in the Middle East quite quickly. Well, if I've had my beard trimmed, they just all speak to me in Arabic. This can only be good, I think. But the problem I have with this is the Nations Championship. For some reason, I had it in my head that this was a World Club Champs.
Yeah, so did I.
But it's not. It's obviously Nations.
It's every 2 years. So every 4 years, but it's in between the World Cup cycles.
Yes. I don't know if this is what we were asking for.
Yeah.
I think if this was Club Champs, I'd be more excited about it.
Why? I mean, why do rugby do it and football don't have to do it? Because football, there's no football. FIFA World Cup is every 4 years.
Yeah, right.
And they build it up, and it's amazing, and everyone goes football crazy. Yeah. Everyone quits rugby and plays football with anyone under 13.
Yeah.
Football don't need to do this every
in
between cycles but they have the Euros. They have
there's
all that.
An American version of that.
Yeah, but we have the rugby championship. We have I don't know.
A little bit watered down. Yeah, I don't know.
It seems desperate.
It does. It's just not quite what we as fans were hoping for.
Cricket did it. Remember that had the Champions Trophy. Remember that? That's the only world trophy we've won. It was the Champions Trophy. I think it was in Zimbabwe we won it.
Right.
We won the final. Chris Cairns won it for us. It's the only piece of international silverware that the Black Caps have ever won, and it was the Champions Trophy that was played in between World Cups as well. 50 overs.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't think anybody was like, man, the World Cup's just too far apart. We need a World Cup in between the World Cups. I know that like New Zealand rugby in particular would be like, great, because their only idea is play more All Blacks, make an All Blacks hotel, try and sell the All Blacks brand for as much as we possibly can. I just don't know that this is what we're after, but this is what we're getting. And look, if it puts a massive cash injection into the game, then so be it.
Yeah, and where's the suitcases when it comes to sports podcasting?
Yeah.
Come on. Like, we're here, we're waiting, we're ready. I've got my bucket ready. I've got a scrubbing brush. I'm ready to wash anything they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cars,
We can be bought.
rights, anything. Anything.
I
Just get
want
us
that on
know.
the record. Happily. We'll be happily bought. We will happily sell out. NRL news, Lane. Addin Fonua-Blake, as you know well, is leaving us for the Cronulla Sharks next year. And producer Adam Pormana has done some absolute Lord's work digging through social media. Addin Fonua-Blake is giving his dog away, and his missus, who we've said for the longest time we needed to do a better job of looking after her, so that he didn't want to go back to Sydney, has taken to social media to give their dog away. And the post reads, if you're keen on this dog, hit me or Addin up. We put the brakes on this for a while now, but want to get the ball rolling before we relocate. Our boy's looking for a forever home. Please only respond if you're serious and can 100% contribute and dedicate yourself to Sarge. I'm in the market for a dog, so...
Sarge looks like a badass dog.
He looks like if Addin Fonua-Blake was a dog.
Yeah, it's a badass staffy.
You don't want that thing coming off the back fence at you.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you want to take it for a walk on any North Shore beach either, because it would eat up some of the dogs on the North Shore beaches. Look, spineless. That's all I'm going to say. Take the dog to fucking Australia.
It would cost less than a Gucci shirt.
Fuck yeah. How much are they paying you to kind of Sharks? How much you get paid out? You can take dogs across the ditch.
And my auntie did it, and she doesn't get paid $1 million a year to play NRL.
I know people they brought their goddamn cats from Australia
My
over
cousin
here.
did it too, from Perth.
Take Sarge.
Take
What's
Sarge
wrong
with
with
you.
Sarge?
And also, I would just like to say that I hope the next time the Warriors sign a marquee player, they write, only looking for a forever home. Please only respond if you're serious and can 100% contribute and dedicate yourself to the club. That's all I have to say on that. The National Basketball Association, Lane, I'll just give you a quick update.
Yep.
Round one, a couple of teams have been knocked out already. Kevin Durant and the Suns have now been swept by Anthony Edwards, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think, will be your new favourite team going forward for the remainder of the playoffs. You know how you got on board with the Kings last year? Like the bean?
Like the bean.
They didn't make it into the playoffs this year.
Bugger.
But Anthony Edwards, people are saying he's going to be the face of the league in a couple of years. Everybody's on board with him already. I don't know if you saw him the other day doing the Degeneration X celebration. He just cooked Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal and the Suns, and he's like 22 or something, and he was smoking them and talking shit to them the whole time.
Okay, perfect. No doubt that's going to translate down to my 11-year-old son, who's going to be shit talking and doing the Degeneration X on me.
Your son will know him already. He was in Hustle, the Adam Sandler movie. He was the guy who was just shit talking, you know, the main character.
Yes.
And he goes and he gives him the welcome to the league sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's him. And that character is based loosely off what he's actually like. He is. He's a motherfucker out there on the court.
T-Bone. He's my new Tony Edwards.
Tony Edwards, yeah. So follow along with that. And we watched this happen live in the office yesterday. One of the players ran into the coach, and the coach was getting carried out. And we were like, what the hell happened to him?
It was overly dramatic.
It was so dramatic.
Like,
because they just ran, it was a pretty inconsequential clash. Mike Conley, who's the smallest guy on the team, ran into his coach, wasn't going that fast. Then all of a sudden the coach getting carried out, won't even put his foot on it. Well, it turns out he tore his patella tendon. So that's your kneecap retracting up into your thigh.
But it was dramatic. It was like he'd had a heart attack. He was slumped over two assistant coaches, and they led him through the crowd and down the tunnel. And it took about 2 or 3 minutes to get him off the bench and out. And I was like, I thought he'd had a heart attack.
Well, it's a career-ending injury for an athlete. I mean, I've got a mate who did it a couple of years ago, and now every time he like bends over or squats down, you can hear his knee creaking. You're like,
I suppose a coach has to get up and down. I suppose a bit of lateral movement as well. You've got to go up and down the court. I did like the look of the assistant coach who looked
Terrified.
He did look terrified. He was a slightly portly dude.
Yeah.
And he had it's like he was the trainer or something. And all of a sudden he was like, oh, fuck. And he was courtside
shit.
and he was like kind of trying to direct things. Luckily they were ahead by quite some distance. So his job was don't fuck it up.
I think in that instance, if you're that coach, you just come in and just be like, all right, guys, for those of you who haven't been paying attention this season, let's go over here. Anthony Edwards, he's a motherfucker. All right?
Give it to him.
Get him the ball and get out of the way.
I could imagine the team goes, who's this guy?
Who's
this little squat guy? Who's this squat white guy here?
Oh, you're one of the coaches.
I thought you were just a gear guy.
He may be. And just finally, I wanted to ask you one quick question. Is this news? This is a segment that I like to do every now and then. Is this news? Dame Sophie Pascoe withdraws from the Paris 2024 Games. For those of you who don't know, she had a kid like a week ago. I don't think this is shocking news to be like, oh, she's withdrawn from the Olympics.
Yeah, she's got a baby.
She's got a baby. What did you think was going to happen?
I know.
I think people think of athletes as robots. And because all you know of her is that she goes in, swims real fast, kicks everyone's ass.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, yeah, she had a baby, but she'll go back out there and swim. It's like, no. She's just had a kid.
Well, there's some crazy shit goes on. Like Paula Radcliffe, remember her, the marathon runner? She gave birth something ridiculously before the London Olympics.
Right.
There's so much pressure on her to do. She ran it anyway. She's the one who shat her pants halfway through a marathon and stuff. So I guess the president's set with some crazy athletes who do that. But
well, there was also the Jamaican netballer a couple of years ago when they had their visa issue and they were short of players.
Oh, yeah.
Who had given birth 6 weeks before and was breastfeeding on the sideline of the Silver Ferns game.
Well, there's Serena Williams as well. She came back pretty quick.
Yeah.
As well.
She, in her documentary, she put on like 4 kilos overnight.
Yeah.
Just while she was lactating. Anyway, I digress. I don't know.
I love how you, out of that documentary, you're a sicko.
Key takeaway, couldn't name a single tournament.
You're a sicko. There's no surprise there.
No.
Anyone who's had a family know that that is a monumental kind of body change and priorities as well.
Life change?
What she got to prove.
Yeah,
I think the next what to prove is motherhood.
Yeah.
She's done everything there is to be done at Olympic Games.
Yeah.
She'll probably miss out in the fact that it's an awesome place to go.
Yeah.
I think there's heaps of people like, fuck yeah, Paris.
Yeah, Paris is a fucking great place to go. Yeah. But anyway. All right, quick break and we'll be back with yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
We've gone over here, so we'll just get to the one audio, yours please. Caller, yours please.
G'day fellas, it's Mike Oxlong here. I've got a bit of a take for you. The decline in the Warriors' form is not a result of the Pinot Noirs or subset groups. It is rather the fact that we are too busy trying to advertise who is drinking the fruitiest and most exotic alcoholic beverage while watching the Warriors. If everyone just stayed with drinking your bog standard line reds or beers or whatever, the mana of the Warriors would not be diminished. Okay, thank you for your time. Bless.
Okay, I can say, look, but the original is DB Bitter, okay?
Yeah.
It's not Lion Red, so you want to get stuck into some DB products and probably some Export Ultras.
I'd get stuck into some Export Ultras.
Yeah, DB Export
refreshing.
Ultras, absolutely. Oh, look, I mean, this is such a minefield we live in as sports commentators and podcasters, is that anything we say is forever on the internet and forever can be brought back to us. And it happens all the time in cricket. You go, Kane Williamson, God, he's looking good. Gone. That's you. That's on you. Like, it's an absolute minefield. You can't compliment a player. You can't try and predict anything because you're terrified of getting told you laid a curse down.
Yeah.
And this is the same with the Warriors. This is again, the worst team you could possibly do that to because it's so unpredictable that you'll get blamed for anything. And the Pinot Noirs, look, to be fair, it's great fun blaming the Pinot Noirs.
Well, it is.
And it's an easy target.
It is an easy target.
But in reality, the team playing terribly.
I thought it was quite interesting that he said something that I've heard a couple of people say, that they're diminishing the mana of the team, the Pinot Noirs. So, look, I know I said I was going to draw a line under it, but I've heard that a couple of times. I thought that was an interesting point he raised.
I also, the interesting point he raised, he said Pinot Noirs and subgroups.
Yeah, right. Are there subgroups of the Pinot Noirs?
Yeah, and is he talking about the espresso martini?
Because
I think that's the Syrahs.
Yeah.
I think that's I think the espresso martinis are completely. I mean, you might as well start blaming the spider wires.
Yeah, He's got a good point, and it's that we stopped, like, it's not about the game anymore. It's fans, and are essentially just being fans of themselves, not the game, because they don't talk about the game. They talk about how they watch the game.
Well, this is what happens when you become popular
yeah.
and mainstream.
That's right.
What do they want? Do they just want 5,000-6,000 people at Mount Smart freezing their ass off, drinking fucking woodies every Saturday, or do they want a packed house and everyone talking about the Waz and buying Waz shirts?
That's right.
You've got to take the good with the bad.
But the problem is they're not talking about the Waz, they're talking about themselves, and that's where it's jumped the shark.
No, they are talking about the Waz in some sort of way.
They're talking about, no,
it's
they're not
Waz
fans
related.
of the Warriors, they're fans of themselves, and that's why all you hear is them talking about how they watch the game. They're never like, oh, I thought this guy had a good game. I thought Chan's running for 300 metres was great. It's like, I drank a 2007 bottle of blah, 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 blah. It's like, all right.
Good with the bad. They're buying merch.
No, they're not. They're getting it for free. They're not buying tickets. Sorry, you've dragged me back here. I didn't want to go here. But all they're doing is taking.
That was like getting a big bag of burley and just like shaking it around the bottom by the anchor and waiting for the fish to come.
My final thought on that is they are not fans of the game. They're fans of themselves. We had a bit of correspondence on Instagram from Ollie Donaldson, who just listened to last Wednesday's Agenda podcast where we brought up the concept that he was going to send in was basically buying a ticket to the footy and getting a free beer.
Yeah.
He said, went to Allianz Stadium in Sydney on Friday night for the Waratahs versus Chiefs Mana game. Wasn't 100% sold at first on a $35 ticket, but then found the option of a $40 ticket with 2 free beers.
Yes.
Was all over it. Reckon it would go down a treat at the games in New Zealand because, by God, do they need it. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
How we are simple beings. We are very simple, and we've kind of worked that out when we run events. You don't need to be fancy about stuff.
No.
Give people a couple of free drinks. Give them what they want.
Yeah.
Ticket to this, tickets to that. It's like running competitions. Don't make people jump through hoops.
Nah.
Don't make them film themselves doing a fucking dance and then tag all your fucking mates and do it.
Nah.
Just text this and be in the draw. It's simple.
Yeah.
And the Aussies get it as well. I went to Allianz Stadium for a State of O a few years ago, pre-COVID. And, I don't know how many people you can get in there, 50,000? There were 50,000 people there.
Yeah.
No issues getting in. I never once queued up for beers.
Really?
I never they had the normal concessions, and then they had pop-up tents all in the middle of the concessions. You could buy 4 beers right up to the final whistle. You could get bourbon, you could get rum, you could get wine, anything you want. Leaving was fine. Getting home was an issue, but that's a different thing. But they just get it. Imagine if, and 2 free beers, $40 a ticket, that's what? You pay $10 at the ground, so it's $20 for the ticket. You've already started with 2 beers. You're probably going to have 2 more.
Oh, 100%.
And they'll ream you for those as well. So,
and go for it. Gouge my eyes out. But don't make me miss half the game that I paid to watch.
Yeah.
Queuing up.
Yeah.
That's what he did. And I think if it's before the council or whoever, some bloody working group at the moment, a new stadium for Auckland, which I know if you're outside Auckland, you probably don't give a fuck, but wouldn't it be great if we had a stadium in the country that was like that? But instead, they're going to put a lid on Eden Park, which you can't get.
We know that's going to happen, eh? We all know that.
Yeah,
we don't want it.
They're going to say that Eden Park is the home of, like, it's the nation's stadium. I never thought of it that way. I know we won the 2011 World Cup there, but
Eden Park's got a place in my heart. I've been to a lot of sports games there. I've got a lot of trouble there.
But it's the games that happened, not the venue.
Yeah,
the venue sucks.
And it's not a cricket ground. So we all know that.
It's not a cricket ground.
No.
By the way, it's not a rugby ground because you're sitting so far back from the thing. I don't know who the hell designed it.
Well, I guess if they are going to choose Eden Park to be the stadium, I guess part of that needs to be dig out the pitch, make it like Twickenham, where you're right on the pitch. Cricket gone. That's going to have to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
and just make it oval ball. But they're gonna have to move the Warriors there. They're going to have to move Auckland City football there.
But you still can't get to the games, and then on top of that, they've got the Wounders Association that live next door, who are like, "Oh no, you can't have a loud concert there." Oh, did you say Coldplay? Oh no, yeah, you can have. Some loud concert. Oh, did you say Ed Sheeran? Yeah, no, like some.
Oh, did you say Pavarotti? Oh, he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Andrea Bocelli. Yeah.
Sure. It's like, so you're telling me that if I live in South Auckland next to a train station, or if I, I could just complain to the council and they'd stop all the noise. If I live underneath the airport, I can just call the council and say, hey, no planes after 7 o'clock. No, it doesn't work for you because you're broke. The rich people in Mount Eden, they can tell us that we can't have sporting events and
it needs
while they sit at home and drink their Pinot Noir.
A new stadium needs to have an event twice a week.
Right.
Whether it's sporting or a concert or something. That to be sustainable at the moment, Eden Park gets like one a month.
Yeah.
And 6 concerts a year or 4 concerts or whatever.
Well, but a new stadium could have a concert every year. I don't know how it would work, but you could probably fit the Breakers in there.
Yeah.
They're playing every other day.
Anyway, that is like the biggest coal mine to go down, this whole Auckland Stadium debate. We need a dictator. We need Pol Pot. We need someone to come in.
Qataris.
A Qatari to come in and say, we're doing this. A Qatari to come in and go, I bought the waterfront.
Yeah. What do you guys want?
And I'm going to do this. And everyone goes, you can't do that. Yeah, I can afford it.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, where am I going to walk my dog? I'll buy you a different park to walk your fucking dog.
Yeah. And another dog.
Yeah, I'll give you Addin Fonua-Blake's dog who eat that little Bichon Free fucker. Because it's majorly the Bichon Frees who are complaining and fucking Graylin.
And then the people will be like, but to be able to build this in 2 years, the working conditions are going to be awful. You're not building it. You're not building it.
I'm going to bring a cruise ship full of Bangladeshi workers like we do in Qatar, and we'll build it in 2 years.
Yes.
And we'll go.
And they'll be gone.
And then we'll be happy, and then we'll just kind of push that out of the way.
And then you turn a blind eye to the crippling civil human rights issues that we have going on in our own country.
But we get a great stadium on the waterfront.
Happy to.
I'll take it.
All right, we'll be back again tomorrow for another episode of The Agenda. Wednesday, so we'll bake up another half-baked sports idea for you. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.